basically like however people are initially exposed to the business is how they perceive the business is done. If they're drugged to a meeting and taken to a meeting, they're going to think, oh, I got to come every Thursday night to be successful in this business, when they don't have to come every Thursday night. Not that meetings aren't important, they are, but they're a secondary validation, and it's not, I have a saying, when mathematics meets duplication in perfect harmony, that's where great wealth is spawned. You see, the math model in Ambit Energy will just sit there and look at you on a computer screen or on a piece of paper. But until you breathe life into the math, it will not come alive. And the replication process, what I'm going through right here, where you are out gathering good quality people and bringing those people in the business and then teaching others to do the same thing, is that's the breathing of the breath into the math to make it come alive. The ability for us all to become a master prospector is very, very important. So in ending, what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about the ability for us all to understand the importance of these objections. Because when they get to the point to where you're going to have somebody who says, well, I would, but I just don't have the money. Look at it like a pitcher on the mound and a batter at bat. Remember, I told you I believe there's only 4 objections to any selling situation: money, spouse, information, time. So is money really an objection in our business anymore? I don't believe it's an objection at all. If somebody did say, I don't have the money, I would repeat back to them what they said. I'd say, what I hear you telling me is, you joined the Ambit winning team today, you just don't have the money at this time. Is that what I hear you telling me? Did you hear what I just said? You repeat back to them what they just said. Because there's nothing wrong with them not having the money. Absolutely nothing. But what you want to validate is they want to be in Ambit, they just don't have the money right now, right? So you don't want to blow them off because they don't have the money. It's not what's in their wallet, it's what's in their heart that's more important than anything. So what I hear you telling me, Frank, is that you'd sign up today, you just don't have the $75 at this time. Is that what I hear you telling me? Yeah. Man, I thought we had a problem. Golly, okay, now that's when you get out a paper app, right, that you should carry around with a paper app on one side and a customer app on the other. And what are you going to do? You're going to sign them up on paper. So, well, look, let's do this. Let's go ahead and get you documented, get you signed up, and I know that within the next week or so, you're going to be able to come up with the $75. And in the interim, let's go ahead and get you your warm market list made out, and, of course, have you watch some videos and that type of thing. Do they need to be in the business to kind of start the business, to make a list? Oh, they don't. Okay. So what's the next objection? Well, I would, but I need to ask my wife. This is a very important objection. You know why? Because dynamic duos in our business tend to make the most money and are the most successful working as husband and wife in this business. That's where you get 2 for 1, and normally, just like I forget who said it, but normally the 900-pound gorilla, the big great white shark, the blue marlin is at home. You know, she's the one that can run circles around a lot of the guys. I think it was you, David, wasn't it? So just keep in mind that, you know, it's so important that you don't overlook the spousal objection, because if somebody says, I would, but I need to ask my wife, you want to say, you know what, you're absolutely correct. Here's what I'd like to do. What's a good time for me and Debbie and you and your beautiful bride to go out and maybe grab a bite of lunch or maybe go to dinner? Now you say, look, all major deals in politics and in a lot in business are closed over what? I can't hear you. Food. Why? Because everybody eats. And if you are really sincerely going to put this couple in one of those leather chairs, okay, can you not invest the time, effort, and energy to take them out? You don't have to take them out to some fancy steak restaurant, but can you not you're going to have to build a rapport and a relationship with them anyway that you want to build with them. And so when you get somebody who wants to talk to their spouse, say, you know what, you're absolutely correct. What's a good time that maybe we could all get together and go to lunch or dinner and spend some quality time? Remember, spend quality time. You're a word merchant. It's how you deliver your words and how you say the words that are so important. Say, look, I'd like to spend some quality time with you, you and Mary. Debbie would love to have us all go out together and maybe go eat some Mexican food or whatever your fancy is. We can make that happen here next week. It would be a good time for that to happen. And the reason why you want to get over food, and a lot of times people will immediately pull out their presentation and their iPad and go into, the compensation plan and all that other stuff. I'd much rather just take the sugar holder and put it in front of them, after you're there for a little bit and say, look, Debbie and I, our goal is to make, 5 million. We're already at almost $5 million with the company. We've been very blessed. Your goal, you might say, whatever your goal is. My goal is to have a yellow jacket. Everybody in here should have a goal to have a yellow jacket. There's nobody in here that shouldn't have a yellow jacket, and you should have that goal. So when you affirm it through your own mouth and you tell people, look, I plan on not only becoming a millionaire with this company, but I plan on becoming, at one point in time in my career, a multimillionaire, and you're serious about it, okay? And what we understand as a couple is that we have to surround ourselves by people who are as good or better than we are. And that's why we want to spend this quality time with you, because here's some of our goals. These are your goals. What are your goals and what do you guys want to do? You don't have to really pull out a bunch of math and pull out a bunch of stuff at the beginning, right? In other words, I would spend more quality time with a couple in building a personal relationship with people and remembering that you're the HR director of your own corporation. And in doing so, you get to pick those people. So I don't see that a spousal objection or significant other objection is anything but a positive thing. And when somebody says, I would, but I need to ask my spouse, I mean, that's music to my ears. That's really what I'm saying. So don't look at it in a negative way. Don't have somebody, I would much rather me spend some quality time with the couple than him or her go home and try to explain it to their spouse, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. There are people that can do that and they have that relationship, but some people don't because you're going to get us into what again? Anyway. The time objection is a little tricky. The reason why the time objection is tricky is because it's kind of like, guys, when you walk into a store and you want to buy a jacket, and you're in there in the men's store, the jacket at Dillard's or wherever, Foley's or wherever you buy your clothes, and a salesman comes up and says, can I help you, sir? And you go, no, I'm just looking. And 5 minutes later, you're looking for a salesman, right? So, have you ever had that happen, guys? You're chasing around the guy now. You just blew him off, right? Well, that's a reflex objection. It's called a reflex objection. And as a reflex objection, a lot of people will tell you, because they don't understand what it is that you're trying to share with them, they'll go, I just don't have time, right? And then if you'll just ask them, well, Frank, can you tell me what it is share with me what it is you don't have with regards to time. What type of time is being taken up by you? Well, I'm a deacon at my church. My kids are in the soccer team. I'm in Toastmasters. I'm also a Boy Scout leader and this and that. Well, that's pennies from heaven. It's just raining money, because what that's really telling you is that person has a what? Strong, positive sphere of influence, right? Okay? So what you want to be able to do is understand that now you say, well, you eat, don't you? You eat, don't you? Yeah, I eat. Okay, well, let's take some time to sit down and go over, because I don't know about you, but I was like a, cat in a dog kennel myself, okay, before I got into Ambit, but now I have a lot of free time, a lot more time, and I'd like to share with you how you can not only accomplish some of the philanthropic goals and other things you're doing within the community, but also how you can buy back a little bit of that time as well. So when can we eat? So once again, I always get my prospects over food. I don't know, it's just easy that way. It's so easy to get people over food, build a relationship, and build a rapport with them to find out if they're qualified to be in my organization. They have to be qualified to be in my organization. You have to cop an attitude, and it's not a hierarchical attitude. It's just, you gotta know that you've got to pick the right people. The next thing, objection, which is, of course, the information objection. So the time objection is not a big deal either if you handle it that way, as far as I'm concerned. The information objection are normally people who have a lot of more analytical thought process to what they do. And so these are people that are never going to sign up today, and that's a good thing. Because what they're going to do is they're going to analyze and they're going to look at the business opportunity, and you need to be prepared to say, look, why don't we do this? I know you have a lot of questions, write out all your questions, email me all your questions, I'll get those questions answered. But if I can get all these questions answered to your satisfaction, will you join the Ambit winning team? Will you join the team? And you got to put bookends on it, because if you don't say, are these all the questions? Because if you don't say they're all the questions, then they're going to ask you more questions. But here's the good thing about people that are more analytical with regards to their thought process. And remember, you have a whole resource of people to get these questions answered. You have corporate rep services, you have your upline, and a bunch of other people that can answer those questions to their satisfaction. But, you know, people who have more of an analytical thought process, once they get in the business, they are in the business. You couldn't run them off with a shotgun, okay? And they may be the tortoises, but they're going to come across the finish line, and they will surprise you, and they will absolutely be some of the best people you've ever sponsored into your business. So don't think that just because people are asking a bunch of questions that they're in any way negative with regards to what it is that they're wanting to know about our business. Those are some of the greatest people that have ever been recruited into our business that have more of an analytical thought process. They are not a negative. They're very positive people. They just have a little different way of thinking. In review, because I have a few minutes left, I would say that the number one goal that you should really work on every day when you've got this little piece of paper, put it under your pillow, okay? And if